Thank you. We appreciate it. Just want to jump right into the questions. The first question is the question that comes from me that I ask everyone. And then I'll jump into the fans' questions, and then I'll come back to my question. So what got you into cars and racing and the whole, car culture?
What got me into cars? Well, that's a two-part question, but the first answer to it is I kind of didn't have a choice. I was 3.5, 4 years old. My dad was tinkering with stuff in Jersey City, New Jersey. He was fixing Volkswagens, Beetles, Carmen Gias, little wagons and stuff to make money on the side. And it just so happened that me being the little nerdy, itty-bitty little baby that I was always watching him and my cousins work on cars. And my dad noticed that I liked taking things apart. So he would hand me old Volkswagen carburetors that back in the late 70s, early 80s were going for like $300-400, and he would sit there and say, "Take this apart," and I'd take it apart because my hands were little, so I can get in all little spots. And then he taught me how to put it back together. And then he would give me $100 for every set that I would build.
Oh wow!
So I was like, 5, 6 years old with every Matchbox car known to man, every Transformer, every G.I. Joe. I was the kid that had everything. And everybody thought my parents bought it for me, when in reality, I was just freaking raking in the dough. And
so you was a thousandaire at 5 years old?
I was more like a hundredaire at 5 years old. So let's just say that, and then it kind of just snowballed from there. My mom didn't know how to drive. My dad taught me how to drive before he taught my mom how to drive. And then my mom learned how to drive, and she couldn't parallel park. So I had to get in my mom's driver's seat of her Volkswagen and park it for her every time she needed to park in Jersey City. And then that became a whole thing, and then it just kind of just spiraled, and I never had a choice to get out of it.
Right.
And
so then what got you into racing?
Well, the racing stuff started when I turned 16. I bought, my third car was a 79 Mustang 4-cylinder. Yeah, I know. And I went to the junkyard, and there was an 86 Mustang SVO turbo that was sitting there that was crashed in the back. So my intelligent ass was like, "Well, how much y'all want for that crashed Mustang over there?" They were like $200. So I took the crashed Mustang engine and put it into my Mustang, and I had a turbo 4-cylinder Mustang. And then I kind of noticed that guys would want to race me with Camaros and other stuff. So I put $50 on it, $100 on it, and I'd start pounding on cats in Jersey, just, beating them that way. And then it kind of just like, well, wait a minute, I'm making money at this. So let me just keep doing it. And it just kind of snowballed into that thing. And then I bought Toyota Celicas and RX-7s and Toyota Supras. And 30 some odd years later, I'm still doing it.
Right.
Just went on. It just took a life of its own.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a lot of people's story on how they got into racing. Although, I see you were kind of with the little, I call them the little rice burners first. But So the first fan question I have is, what is your favorite car of all time?
My favorite car of all time. Okay. I have a list. That's why the boss is laughing just now. I have a list.
Okay.
And the first one is on the list. It's a 1987 Porsche 928 S4 gray market car. Has to be gray with the 5-speed. That's the first one. The second one is a 1985 Ferrari 512 Testarossa. Has to be red, beige interior with the gated shifter.
Okay.
If y'all know what Miami Vice is, you know what car that is.
Yep. The
third one, and I had the opportunity of owning it for literally what seems like 45 seconds. It is a 1973 Mustang Mach 1 convertible with a 429 Super Cobra jet and a drag pack, automatic.
Wow.
Has to be blue. Has to be blue with the white and the gray stripes.
Call rejected. Wow.
And then the last one, which is super near and dear and everything to my heart. It is the last car, but it's the first car I ever remember. It's the first car my dad ever owned. Well, the first car my dad ever owned that I remember. 78 Mercury Cougar XR7 Midnight Cat, midnight blue with the Palomino roof, Palomino leather interior, Palomino colored wheels with the 8-track, with the stereo surround sound and the booster.
You're very specific on them cars. They say you're a Ford man at heart.
I'm a Ford man at heart, but the company hurt me really bad in 2000.
Right.
I mean, they did me about as dirty as anyone has ever been done.
Mm-hmm.
I built the car. Was my first SEMA car. Was a 2006 Ford Focus twin turbo that I did with a company out of California, and I was doing audio and stuff at the time. And I put color changing LEDs in the cup holders, in the door head, in all the spots and underneath the car and everything, and I integrated it. Well, the car was sponsored by Ford. The Ford engineers see that I put a water bottle in a cup holder and the water bottle's changing color, and everybody's going, "Oh my God, that's so dope!" Then it was just 3 LEDs that would change color. And Funk Flex came over. He took a picture of himself with me in the car. I still got it. I was like, that's one of my fanboy moments. And the Ford engineers started asking me questions, and me, like the dumbass back then,
answer the question.
That I sat there and answered every question. So what comes out in 2006 towards 2007? Ford's mood-changing color interior. So I contact the reps from Ford that I had talked to about that, and they denied ever knowing that or even speaking to me. Mind you, I got pictures of me standing there with the guys. And I said, well, I'm going to sue. And their answers were, well, you can sue if you want, but we got way more money than you have time. So my happy ass sat there and said to the company, and never again will I ever give game for free that way. It's not going to happen.
All right, that's a good answer. So
today, not tomorrow, not next week.
So the next question is, what got you interested in the big rim racing culture?
Okay, what got me interested in the big rim racing culture? A lot of people don't know this, but back in the day when I was working in and I had a used car dealership in Jersey, one of the things that I was really big into was G-bodies. I was huge into them, huge into Impala SS's 94 to 96 B-bodies. I mean, big. I owned every one of every color of every year, 94 through 96.
Oh,
wow. I had every one. I had a black 94, I had a black, burgundy, and green. And if y'all don't know, it's BBB for black, DGGM, dark gray, green, metallic for green, and DCCM, DCM, dark cherry, metallic for red. I had black 94, the black and the red 95, and I had all 3 96s. And one of the things we were doing in Jersey at the time was putting 20s, 21s, which was like a huge thing, and 23s.
Right.
So I always liked the rim size and the style of it, because if you could make something like that roll, you were good. Those rims back in the day weighed a freaking ton. So fast forward to when I moved to Vegas and I get tied up with the whole truck thing. And one of the guys that I built a truck for, which was called Johnny Blaze, he brought it up and it had 28s and 26s on an 8-inch lip in the back. And he wanted to make the truck go fast. He said he wanted the truck to do 12s, high 11s at the worst. And I put that truck together. That's that red single cab Silverado that I post every so often. And that thing whooped pretty much everybody's ass.
Right.
I had it for a month and a half. Like I had it myself. And I drove it pretty much every day, and I fell in love with it. And I was like, wait a minute. If I can make a 5,000-pound truck on 6s run, what the fuck am I going to do with a 4,300-pound car? What am I going to do with a 3,600-pound car? So then it's just started getting me interested, and I was like, you know what? What does everybody do these days? I dropped on IG and just started searching hashtags. Hashtag big rims, hashtag 26s. And my customer put me on to Bruce and put me on to Blue Magic and put me on to Dunkmaster. And I started watching what they were doing and paying attention and writing and taking notes and paying attention and paying more attention, and then sending a DM, to this cat. Hey, you put this motor in this car. Do you mind telling me what it does mile per hour? Do you mind telling me what it does at least, to 330? And started just paying more attention and watching. Becoming a real student of it and seeing what it was. And then it just kind of sat there and made me make the decision that if I'm going to go into big rim racing, I have to get one of the cars. I have to get a dunk. Period. End of story. Then one of the biggest posts I ever put out was I asked the question, what is a dunk? Because for me, I would love to build a 72 two-door Catalina. A two-door Pontiac Catalina, a Torpedo, man, that thing is absolutely made perfect for what I'd love to do. Perfect spots for turbos, a big enough hood for as big of an engine as I want, good weight distribution, looks cool. Sitting one on some 26s, you know, squatting it just a smidge, a hardtop, nobody's ever done that. So I started throwing that out, and everybody told me, no, 71 through 76 Impala, 71 through 76 Impala, you know, Caprice. And it just became a thing, and people started talking shit, and one thing happened after the other, and the next thing you know, we're here.
Okay.
So that's how it kind of rolled. You know, it just started from there and went that way.
Next question. How are you doing on building your dunk?
How am I doing on building my car? Currently, I have that much progress. I had the intention of building one in 2019, and life threw me a couple of curveballs and some sliders.
Right.
And the boss basically told me, you can't build one until you finish your truck. So my truck is almost done, and her rationale is kind of makes sense. I'm known for trucks. I was talking about building this truck for 2 years. Finish it, get it done, because when I build a dunk, it's going to consume me. Right. It's going to be the kind of thing where none of y'all are going to see me for probably 6 months. I'm literally going to fall off the planet. And when I come out, the car is going to be something. I'm not going to say that's something nobody's seen, but it's going to be something that no one has ever attempted. Because my goal with my car is 5 states, 5 tracks, 5 days, driving it to each one and running less than 10 seconds at each the way that it's set up. And I'm going to basically put it on my name to say, I dare anybody to beat that. Wow.
Next question. How did you become an honorary member of Team FYB?
How did that happen? So my customer with the red truck, PK, he put me on to, like I told you, onto Bruce and all of them. And back then, Bruce was a lot of talk, a ton of talk, and not as much backing it up as he is now. If you know Bruce, of 3 years ago, and you know Bruce now, he was a little more, let's just say, animated. And, you know, he didn't like the fact that one day I made a comment on his post, which wasn't necessarily very friendly or nice. And he blocked me. And I stood blocked on his page for probably like 3 months until finally my customer sat there and said, dude, you just need to talk with him because he doesn't understand where you're coming from. Y'all two are two like-minded cats. You both think the same way. You're both about street racing. You're both about it, but he doesn't know you.
Right.
So I sent his sister Paris a message, and I said, Paris, listen, if you can get Bruce in touch with me personally on the phone, I want to talk to him. I want to bury whatever beef, whatever he feels that I said to him, decided him, I want to tell him to his face. He calls me up. We talked for probably like an hour. And then he kind of just like, yo, can I call you if I ever got a question? I was like, yeah, sure. So behind the scenes, Bruce would call me and ask me questions. A lot of people don't know that. Like every so often, like yourself, you just call me out of the blue. I got a question about this. What do you think about that? Just running shit past somebody. And then one day it happened where, you know, the whole CAD and stuff for me was going on. And he asked me to break something down to him. Why do you say that this is this way? You know, why are you saying that? And I broke it down. This is why blank, blank, blank. This is this blank, blank, blank. And he had, I didn't know this, a couple of people in the LS community behind him listening. And he wrote all this stuff down, and they kind of sat there and said, no, this guy knows what the fuck he's talking about because everything he said makes total sense. And then they kind of back-checked everything that I said, and they were like, wow, that actually makes sense. So I crossed the whole line of being bullshit and being just somebody that talks shit versus somebody that, you know, knows what he's talking about. And when I crossed that line, sorry, I got to get in the driver's seat. So when I crossed that line, Bruce said, one day I'm going to get an LS something that's going to come in my shop, and if it does, I'm going to give you an opportunity. It just so happened that it did in Huggy's car, and I went out there, and then he watched me work. Like, I actually was working on Huggy's car in the shop. And he saw the customers that would come to get a tune. He saw the stuff that I was doing for other people. I tuned his sister's truck. Immediately after tuning it, we're in the car wash, and everybody's there, and she's like, well, thanks for tuning my truck, man. I mean, I don't know what it does. I never really drove it hard. One of these motherfuckers in here got to drive it. That's what Fresh said. And she's like, yo, which one of y'all going to want to drive it? And nobody moved, and I instantly stood up and said, me? And she's like, you want to drive it? I said, fuck it, put me behind the wheel. So she gives me the keys. She says, go ahead. Bruce gets in the passenger seat. Bruce had never been in a car with me before. I was like, Bruce. I looked over and I said, Bruce. He's like, what? Like, hold on. And I begin to power slide out of his shop sideways down the boulevard. And he's like this. He instantly does like this. And it wasn't that he was scared, it just shocked him. Because he didn't think it was gonna happen. You know, like I just skated sideways down the road. And then we went to that spot where we street raced, and he was just like, the first race with me against that Camaro that I also tuned, I lost by about that much. First run I did in the truck. So I hot-lapped the bitch. I said, come on, let's go again. And I got it right the second time. I had a feel for the girl, and I was like, all right, fine, I know how to ride this lady. And you can hear in the video that he goes, Camaro Dad! Come here! Like, he didn't even think it was possible that that thing could do what it did.
Right.
When we got back to his spot, he said, you know what, Kreative? I don't care what anybody says. There's no bullshit to you. You are who you are. And I looked at him and I said, from this moment forward, Bruce, as long as you don't do something super egregious that I can't back you on, FYB for life. And that's it, you know, and I got his back. I'm me, he's him. You know, we do our things. I got you, man. You know, I'm me, he's him. We do things together. He doesn't work for me, I don't work for him, but we work together. And that's the way, it should be like this. Life shouldn't be one person grabbing the other. Life should always be, you know, two people working together. And that's what we're doing. And regardless of what anybody thinks, regardless of what anybody wants to say about the man, if you don't support people like him doing what they're doing, you got a problem.
What is a fun fact that the fans would be surprised to know about you?
Fun fact that fans would be surprised to know about me. I was on Pimp My Ride for the first season and a half. If you go to the first season, if you blink, you miss me. But I was on the TV show. That's one. There will be another fun fact. I was a member of a not a world, but a United States laser tag championship team.
So you daily with the laser tag, huh?
Oh yeah.
All right, that's a good one.
We played 10 teams across 6 states, up and down the East Coast, and we went 9-1 over 10 games.
That's a good one, Tony. What's your hobby outside of cars that we wouldn't see?
I play video games a hell of a ton. I am a huge Call of Duty fan, like absolute death Call of Duty fan. I play Call. If you play me on Black Ops 2, you dead. Let's just tell you that. I can outplay teenagers at that. I am just absolutely freaking destructively good. That's one, and the second is I play poker. A lot of it.
Well, yeah, you lived in Vegas, so you're gonna play poker, right?
Yeah, somewhat, but I took it. Me and my dad, we were playing, and we both actually qualified for the World Series of Poker twice.
Wow.
And I've played for big money. He's played for big money. I think the most that he ever won was like $50,000, and the most I ever won was $12,000 in a Golden Nugget tournament.
Oh, that's what's up.
So
if you can race anyone, so what would be your dream race? Who would it be your dream to race?
Ooh. Right now or in the future?
Anytime, whenever.
Anytime, whenever. I would love to race. I want to say, but God, it's gonna start so much shit. Fuck it. I would love to race Cad at his track, him in his car, me in the car that I built. Period.
Oh wow.
And when I mean I want to race, I want him at his best. Him in his car, me in my car. I built it. He did whatever he wanted to do to it. He picked the track. We flipped for lanes, quarter-mile pro tree, and we get it the fuck off.
So Cad.
That's the one I want to knock off. And then if I had a choice after that, I would want to do the gauntlet. I'd want to race Donkmaster in the Z06, CC's car with Donkmaster driving, and then whatever the third car that Donkmaster wants to pull out, the Black Lure or whatever, with him driving. I want to beat him in 3 cars, 1 event, same day, with the same vehicle.
That's what's up. Who do you want to race with Huggy Car, the top 3?
The top 3. Hensley's first. Savage is second. I would love Savvy to be in the car, but that's not going to happen. Third would be MJ at the track, but I don't think that would ever happen. Those would be the first 3. I think that would be a fair lineup for that car to go through. And then, all
right, so this time they did not disappoint because I have to ask the past 4 shows. I've had to ask this question, but Tony asked it this time. So, 2 Flyer Hollywood.
2 Flyer Hollywood? Where are they racing?
You pick. We'll say street and track.
Okay, if they're racing on the street, Hollywood by a mile. If they're racing at the track, if it's at Palm Beach, Hollywood with a decent sized win. If they're racing at Orlando, I'm gonna say it's a coin flip.
Okay.
Because Orlando, for whatever reason, Low and 2 Fly love that track, and they have that car running some type of way there.
All right. Boost Doctor Grand Nasty.
It's no offense to DNL, but I'm sorry. I'll say it again. Summer is a car that runs really hard up top, but up until the 8th, it's beatable by a lot of stuff, whereas Hollywood is super consistent with Pocahontas. It either gets out or it doesn't do anything. It's going to be one of the 2.
Boost Doctor or Grand Nasty?
On 26s or 20s?
I don't think Boost Doctor runs on 26 is too much, so let's just say 20s.
On 20s, Boost Doctor.
I don't think that's a fair question. They asked Dumpmaster or CC, but that's not a fair question because he drives both of them. I think the only way that would happen is Boost Doctor would have to drive CC car.
If Boost Doctor drove CC's car and Dumpmaster drove the Z06, CC's car would absolutely freaking gap ties and put the freaking gap ties on. It would happen.
I'll go with CC. I'll go with CC too on that one.
And because you were there and I was there at freaking at Orlando when we saw Boost Doctor basically make that car jump out its shoes like it saw the Holy Ghost.
Right.
And it's never done that out. It's never done it again. Ever. It's never done it again. So if y'all want to say that I'm a hater of DNL, I mean of In-N-Out, you can say that. But then you got to sit there and explain to me how Boost Doctor was typing some keys, got behind the wheel of that car, made it do that. Sit here and call me a liar.
Boost Doctor made that thing. I ain't never seen that car do that. I don't know if it done it since, but I know I just had never personally witnessed that car do that before.
Again, a lot of people call me a hater, but I sit there, you want to call me a hater sometimes, I say, nah, I speak the truth. I only hate when I lie. So if I'm lying, please tell me I'm lying. That car did something it has not done since and didn't do before. That car jumped out of its socks like it saw the Holy Ghost.
How do you balance shop track work life and family life?
I balance it really freaking difficult. It's not easy at all. I got 2 kids that I stay at home with Monday through Friday. My 4-year-old and 2-year-old. So I stay home with them because the boss man goes to work. Then when she gets home between 5 or 6, I go into the shop and try to put a couple hours in at night. And then I work on the weekends. Obviously, I'm doing the IG thing. And the racing thing, it's one of those, I have to ask her to pick up my slack on the weekend. And,
right.
You know, she doesn't. And the way that I get through it is being able to have a partner in my life that sits there and says, go ahead, babe, go do what you got to do. If
right.
you feel you got to do it, but me also being responsible enough to not have to put her in that position every time.
I think people don't understand the importance of having a partner that is supportive on what you're doing. You know, I got a lot of homeboys that got the women in their life are not supportive of the whole car culture, the whole car thing, the building cars, and it does not make for a good relationship for them.
No, I don't.
So,
I mean, Eddie Murphy said it in Delirious, you know? Eddie Murphy said it. He wanted to marry a woman that, even though he's making $1 million, she's like, here, baby, here's $1. Here, you can now make it $1 million and more. You know, a lot of ladies and men too don't support their spouses in what they're doing without seeing the bigger picture. You know, my wife can sit here and say that she doesn't like a lot of the stuff that I get into, but at the end of the day, she sits there and says, if I need this bill paid, my husband has it. If I need this money, my husband has it. I've never left my family homeless. I've never left my family hungry. The lights have never been turned off. We've been bad, but we've never been that bad. And even when all this stuff happened, you know, with the weather and everything, my family knew, my wife and my kids knew, as long as Dad's breathing, we're good.
And that's important because it's a lot of women who can't say they have that type of security and they got a man.
And there's a lot of men that can't sit there and say that their wives want to help push them. You know, their wives want them to get to some place and they're like, oh, we cool here. Even though their husbands are constantly saying, we want to go, I want to do something. You know, I don't want to be a hustler all my life. I want to be legit. I want to do this. Oh, but that means making less. Yeah, it means making less, but it means making more security for my family. It means owning. It means being a boss. You know, it means that I don't have to ask somebody to sign my check. But women are just like, nah, keep driving that truck and keep making that money for that company.
Right.
There's a big difference.
I think it's all about having forward thinking. See, all people don't have forward thinking and forward vision. But yeah, let me ask this next question because that could be a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. But what's the top 3 fastest G-body in your opinion?
Top 3 fastest silverback gorilla. We're going with Grand Nasty. Those are 1 and 1A. And then to not be a jerk to nobody, Ozzy would be 3rd. But again, it's like I could say 3rd is the rest of the field. You know, it's Hollywood and Grand Nasty and everybody else. And until something happens to change that, I ain't coming off that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, because it could be anybody else. No disrespect to any other camp. You folks are not on that level yet. These guys are 2 floors ahead of everybody else right now. For whatever reason, they got those 2 fucking cars working like animals.
Right.
They scare me.
All right. What do you think is helping? This is a 2-part question. What do you think is helping big rim racing and what is hurting big rim racing?
What is helping big rim racing is the fact that Dunkmaster competed at a level that he competed at for such a long time, and it drove people's competitive juices to get to a point where they had to get up to where he was. Dunk racing and big rim racing in general was kind of a fuck it kind of thing. People just sat there and didn't take it seriously. It was you know what, I got a 72 vert with a 454, let me just throw 2 kits on the bitch and go have fun. Dunkmaster sat there and said, let me get serious about this. Fuck the looks, make the bitch fast. And I'm not saying he was the greatest or the worst, but he just took it seriously.
Right.
And now everybody's having to take it seriously with the technology and the computers and the chassis work and actually getting into the guts of it. It's not just a let me drink a bottle of Hennessy and go down the track kind of attitude.
Right.
That's what helped a lot of it. Just having somebody that was there as a target.
Right.
What's hurting it right now, and this is a two-part answer. The first part answer is the amount of money that people see that they could make, either betting or throwing an event. And I'm going to be very unpopular to say right now, the TV show that Don't Mess is on. The reason why it's two-part. Number one, the money's getting in the way of a lot of shit. People are now betting $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 at the line. And I don't need to tell you that when you drop that kind of coin on something, it's not just your ego that's on the line. So people are getting it confused, and they're taking the whole racing thing away, and it's now an investment thing. I want to put in $2 to make $5. I want to put in $10 to make $30.
Right.
Nobody's looking at it as, let's you and me race and see who's better. So it's getting into egos, and people are talking, and now people don't want to lose. Because everybody's willing to win, but nobody's willing to lose. And I hate to say this, unless they figure out a way that both sides go with the win light, somebody has to win and somebody has to lose. And you never can be guaranteed on who it is. Mm-hmm. So that's the first part. The second part about the reason why the TV show makes the things worse is that now people are thinking that what they see on TV is reality.
Right.
And I hate to tell you folks this, being for a person that was on TV, being for a person that's been around a lot of entertainers and people that have been on reality TV. Reality TV ain't real. They can edit you how they want you. They can put you in whatever perspective and light that they want to make you.
Better say that again. Better say that again. Listen, I think people with any, let me see, I don't want to say this in a way where I disrespect nobody, but I think that if you have a modicum of common sense, you understand that what you see on TV is not real. But we all know from seeing how these comments go and how these things go, that's not necessarily what happens.
What's happening these days is everybody takes what they see on this little square. You've heard me say that before. And they think that this is reality. Right. And they feel that they can be who they want and project and portray the person that they want.
Right.
Unfortunately, I hate to tell you this. In anything that you do, the real always comes out, above the fiction,
Well, it's like how, everybody rich on Instagram, right?
Oh, of course. Everybody rich.
I make sure, let me tell y'all right now, all however many of y'all on here, I am not rich. I just now became a thousandaire. Just now.
You're rich. You're famous. You got the world's best looking ass. You got titties that don't stop. You got a closet full of clothes. When you walk down when you change your pad during that time, nothing but roses and butterflies come out. Again, we're in a culture. We're in a culture these days where women like the Kardashians are looked up to. Think about that for a second.
You're right.
Okay? This is a chick that made her name off of a freaking porn movie. And her mom pimped her. If you don't sit there and say that's exactly what happened, you are a liar. Her mom saw that she was taking it from freaking Ray J and decided to pimp her ass out. No hate on how they want to do it, but I'm sorry. If I have to sell out my family and my kids to make my name, I should die. Bury me. I don't need to do that. But we look at those people that way. So what happens? People see these TV shows and they think that that's reality. They see Don't Mess racing a guy in a G8. Oh my God, he's super fast. Never knowing that, wait a minute, dude. There's 1,500, 2,000 horsepower G8s that would absolutely destroy most anything. But that's a G8 with a guy behind the wheel who was probably drunk and wanted to try it. Any offense on it? No. But that's not a gauge of what is real or what's not. That's just something to make the TV show look good. If you really put it in and you actually had a TV show, I would have loved the camera crews that followed Bruce and MJ during that whole street racing thing in freaking Jacksonville. Because that's real. They're going through the bullshit. They're getting the track, running from the cops, having to do this, having to do that, getting all set up. And at the end of it, the race going on. That's
He said, so would you have turned down the TV show?
I wouldn't have turned down the TV show. Okay, let me say this. I will turn down the TV show and I will turn down any TV show if I don't have one of three things. Production control. I have to have control over production. Period. I don't want somebody else in the room making me look the way that I'm not. 2, the unedited footage gets put up on YouTube or Twitch every week. Unedited. 100%. This is everything raw. This is what came out. So y'all can see what was left on the floor. And 3, the moment that I feel, personally, that I want out, I'm out. I don't want a contract. I'm done.
Right.
Do I think a TV show can benefit? Yes. But it has to portray the real part of the culture, not just what they want to show you.
Right.
You don't see a constant stream of competitive people in the true sense, and it's all from one person's perspective. If you want to show the entire culture, show the entire culture. Don't show the outliers. Don't show the people that are kind of in the little orbits. Don't show the me's of the world. I mean that. Don't show the me's of the world. The me's of the world shouldn't be anywhere near that. That show should revolve constantly around Don't Master CC, Two Fly, Rose, Cad, Bruce, Hensley, and some of the cats in Louisiana. And leave it at that. It should rotate equal time around all of them. Not just more on one guy and less on the rest. You know, I appreciate you being here longer than all of them combined. And if they were there, these were the people that they competed against, competed against to get to where they got, they should be there. I'm not saying that I'm going to boycott it because they're not. I'm saying it's simply that if I was an NFL team, if I was the Patriots, and I played the Jets, the Bills, the Eagles, and the Dolphins, which they do twice a year, I can't sit there and have a TV show about life in the NFL without showing those 4 teams.
Well, I think I won't even say it's the issue. I think the way that came about is, you know what I'm saying, it had to be some pitching going on their part. You understand what I'm saying? So, I mean, I don't know how it came about. Like, I've never talked to them about how it came about, but the way that I've always thought that TV shows come about is, say you and I had a great idea. We go to NBC, CBS, wherever we go, and we're going to pitch our show. Mm-hmm. So that's how that goes. Am I right or wrong? So we go pitch our show, and then when we pitch our show, that's how it comes about.
It does and it doesn't. The way that you get a TV show, generally, folks, and write this down. You put together an initial treatment. That's your synopsis of the show. And you do pitch it to some of the production companies. They then pitch it to the networks. So you don't go straight to NBC or CBS. You go to some of the production companies. Now, every production company is going to have their own angle. Every production company is going to have their own spin on things. And some production companies are going to want more realism. Some production companies are going to want more drama because drama sells. And some production companies are going to want to put certain people who are more photogenic in front of a camera versus others. Why do I say that? When I worked for West Coast Customs, I did most of the heavy lifting, most of the audio, and most of the dirty work. Me and a group of other guys. But yet, you would see the big Danes of the world, you know, getting wrenches and getting dirty in a car, when basically all Dane would do is, all right, am I done? Cool. So you would think, as a person watching the show, the big Dane sat there and put in hours putting that bubble machine in that car. When in reality, the person that did it was me. They edited me out and put him in. So do you get a true sense of what's going on, or do you get a sense of what they want you to see? That's why reality TV for me has never been the way. If you want to make dunk racing go to the future, put it on a way that everybody can see everything like a pay-per-view and just have at it. This way, everybody can get their way. And everybody can get to where they're going to get. Street Outlaws came to Vegas. There's a car called Lucky 7. You can look them up on YouTube, okay? From Tubaso Racing, Tubaso. That RX-7 absolutely slaps. When I mean slaps, slaps. It makes some of the stuff that you've seen run at freaking Orlando look slow. And it's a street car. When they came out to race them, Street Outlaws OKC came out to race them, they didn't want to race him. And they said no. They picked and choose who they raced. And if you look in the previews, the car's there. The car's off the trailer. The car's ready to go. They declined to race it because they didn't want to get beat. Why? Why did they allow that to happen? Why didn't they show the whole negotiation that, nah, we don't want to race that car. We don't want to race that car. We don't want to race that car. Why didn't they show all of that? Why didn't they show the part when Big Chief was sitting there saying, nah, I don't want a piece of that thing. I've seen that fucker do sixes on the street. You know? He said it. I seen that thing do sixes on the street. Nah, we don't want it. Right. And they edited it completely out. Now, you don't know that, but if you were there in the crowd, like some of the people that I know, if you were the person that owned the car that I know, you were there and heard that they didn't want to race you. They wanted no piece of that car. So is that true street racing? Because what would have happened? On IG, he would have gotten called out. There would have been a whole bunch of caps going on at the bottom. Everybody would have been freaking laughing at him. He would have been a fast gas joke, and we would have moved on. Right? Everybody would have rode him. But they edited out of the show. So what you, as KP see, and what you as the fan see, isn't representative of what really happens. Now,
well, like I said, when it comes to any type of reality TV, you know, scripted or non-scripted, we know that it's pretty much scripted because they're gonna cut out what they need to be cut out.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Though. There are so many people that should know that, but don't want to accept it.
That's that's not going to happen.
Listen, KP, how many people called me crazy when I said Macho was going to beat Dunkmaster the first race out?
A lot.
And I broke down why.
Well, we didn't know he was going to red light, but you did say he was going to beat him.
I said he was going to beat him, and I said the reason why is because he's going to be very rusty behind the wheel, what you earn and pay as you weigh. You know, as long as you do that, this whole entire culture is going to get better. As a whole, you know, you've got to have people that don't like everybody. You've got to have people that aren't everybody's friend. But at the end of it, we all have something to bring to the table as long as we're not sitting here using these.
Right.
As long as we use this with a little bit of this, we are all part of the same culture. And I welcome anybody's comments. I welcome anybody's criticisms. I welcome anybody's willingness to debate with me on any subject. Because at the end of it, we can be heated, but we'll still be friends.
Okay. Well, I thank you so much for joining us today. I really, really appreciate it. I know you had stuff to do, but I really wanted to make sure that we sat down and talked to you and, you know, asked you all the questions. That was all my questions. So listen, I appreciate you joining.
I got to tell you this, KP. You're doing something that's really, really important in the community. You're going in a direction that I see you going, and I want you to understand. I support you and any woman trying to do anything that a man can do because men and women are equal under the skin. I just always remind you, don't let nobody marginalize you. Don't let nobody use your womanhood against you. And always put yourself in the same light, in the same position that they do. Because you're just as good, if not better, than most of the people out here. Because you're doing it and you're trying.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. On that note, I'm going to go ahead and let you go about the rest of your day. And thank you so much for sitting down to answer our question.
Thank you, and thanks to everybody that gave the questions, because without y'all, we wouldn't be up.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too, my dear.